she drove with us, and we couldn't find a parking spot in front of the hospital, so my husband dropped us girls off and we walked in there, and it was a long way to walk in there to go to the emergency room and check in, and I couldn't walk anymore. At this point I was just so weak and that I almost crashed on the floor, and I was like, sorry. Even though it was like probably like 5 meters away, like to sit down, I couldn't do it anymore. I was just, my legs were shaking so much, and I got like everything turned black in front of my eyes. I was done. And then they rushed one of those beds to me, and I was laying down, and they put up my feet, and they're like, okay, so you're the sister-in-law, okay, what's happening, what's going on, what happened? And then they tried to ask me some questions, but I did answer some of them, but then I got so confused and dizzy that I couldn't answer anymore. They finally took me in, took some blood to get my blood results, and when they came back, I already felt much better after laying down for quite some time. And they told me, okay, your blood results look good. You do have a lot of blood loss, and probably after all this miscarrying, you're just out of energy. So taking long walks or standing up a long time is not good for you. I was like, well, I noticed that, thank you. They're like, yeah, we will do an ultrasound and see if everything is out or not. That's what they did. They drove me over to the ultrasound. They did an ultrasound, and she was explaining everything to us. You could see like this little hole right there where the baby used to be, and that's what's bleeding so much. And then she was like, okay, most of the stuff is out, like the worst thing is over. You only have a little bit of stuff left in there that needs to come out, and it can take weeks if you have bad luck. So she was telling me that she would give me some pills, and I was supposed to take 2 pills that night, 2 in the next morning and 2 the next afternoon. And she was like, they will give you more contractions, so the contractions will come back and will help you get the stuff out, and then after that you should be much better. That's what I did that night. When we went home, I did take the first 2 pills, and it didn't take long. Like right after I took it, my contractions started, and after 30 minutes I really had the urge to go to the bathroom again, and I pushed another big tissue out, and after that the bleeding got so much better. It was like only light bleeding, and that night I was not really sleeping that well because the cramping was pretty strong. Really TMI again. But that Friday, August 19th, I took 2 more pills in the morning. The crampings continued, and I passed lots of blood again, lots of blood and a little bit of tissue throughout the day. I took 2 more in the afternoon. The crampings went from my uterus to my abdomen. I don't know how to describe that. Women know the difference, and that's what I felt. So I knew that it was not in my uterus anymore, and that I did feel my abdomen being cramping. And I remember that the past 4 or 5 days, ever since the cramping started, so Sunday, I didn't eat much at all. Probably like a few grapes, drink lots of water, and that's about it. Because due to the pain, I just couldn't eat, and I didn't feel like eating at all. So I knew, it was like, okay, this is now my digestive system being messed up. And that's what it was. That night, I went to the bathroom and I had really bad diarrhea. Bad. Since there was nothing in my system, it was just water coming out. That's how bad it was. Really TMI, I'm sorry, but that's just my whole story. Giving you all the details. Saturday, August 20th. Cramping, all gone. Tummy still felt really uncomfortable. I was not able to lay on my tummy because I kind of felt uncomfortable. Tight jeans were really uncomfortable still. I was able to eat again, so that's a good thing. I was finally able to eat, and the bleeding was a lot less. I didn't need the extra big pad anymore. So I was only using like the thin ones, so I didn't feel like a big baby anymore, but like a human being. So that was nice. Then August 21st, little to no bleeding. It was almost gone and I felt much better. My energy was coming back. I did take some iron pills and I was just feeling much better, which was good because on Monday, August 22nd, my school started again. I had to go back to school. My summer break was over and I was thankful for it too. First I didn't want to go, but then I was like, okay, I need to get my mind off everything that happened. So I'm gonna go back to school. That was good. Tuesday, I did find another doctor online and I wanted to go to their office to explain my situation and ask them if they would take me in. And again, I got turned down. They were like, sorry, we don't take any new patients. I'm so sorry what happened to you, but we cannot help you here. And then I got really frustrated again. I was like, okay, how is this that we're the biggest city in Germany, the capital of Germany, and we do not have any doctors that take any new patients in? What the heck? And she saw that I was really going through a lot and that I was just really to the point where I was really upset and really angry and I couldn't hide it anymore. So she gave me address and their phone number. She was like, okay, there's a doctor that you can go to. It's a little farther away, but they definitely take patients, so maybe you should call there. That's what I did. I called them and explained again my situation, and they were like, okay, well, let's make an appointment in 2 days and come in, and then we will check you and see what's going on, and then you can come here for your future and you will be fine. So that's what I did. Wednesday, normal day, nothing special. Thursday, I did go to my new ladies doctor. Finally, I had one. I had the appointment there and basically what happened, I walked in, had the appointment, had to wait, fill out some stuff, you know. Next to me there was a pregnant woman sitting there. And another lady came in, sat down to my left, and she had a newborn girl. Okay, don't cry right now, don't cry, don't cry. But I didn't feel like crying, so I was like, you're strong, you're fine, you can do this. Then they asked me to go back to one of the offices to get my blood pressure, my height, my weight, and everything. We did go back there, and as soon as I sat down and she closed the door, I bursted out in tears. I couldn't hold it back, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean this to happen. And she's like, hey, you're fine. You just lost your child. If you wouldn't be crying, then I would think something is wrong with you. So that made me smile. I was like, well, thank you. She gave me some tissues, and I did until I calmed down a little bit to get my blood pressure. She did ask me some questions, what happened, when it happened, and I told her the whole story. And then she was like, okay, well, if you don't want to sit out there with the babies and pregnant ladies, you can sit here in the back and wait here until the doctor gets you. And I was like, thank you so much. And that's what I did until the doctor called me in, and she was really nice. She asked me what happened. She took her time. I was in there for quite some time. She wanted to hear the whole story, how long I've been married, how long we've been trying, what was going on, why I hadn't had a ladies doctor before, and what happened with the one that I went to and all that. I told her the whole story, and then she was like, well, I'm so sorry what happened. We will have to check you now and see what's going on. I know this is a tough time, but let's just make an ultrasound. That's what we did. She took an ultrasound, looking at it, and she's like, well, it does look really good. You have most of the stuff out, which is great. But there, and then she showed me like little tiny spots everywhere. She's like, these little things still need to come out. No need for operation or anything. The body will just get rid of it itself, but it can take a while. And that's the reason why I continue bleeding. Then it stopped, and the bleeding stopped, and then spotting in between and stuff. And then she's like, that's totally normal because the body is still trying to get rid of that, but at the same time having the pregnancy hormones still in the body. So it's kind of confused between, am I still pregnant or am I trying to get rid of everything? She explained it really well to me, and it really made sense. After that, she's like, well, in my opinion, you should probably wait until you get your first period, because then you know that everything is out, that your uterus is clear, good to go, and it would probably be better for the next baby to implant in a clear and clean uterus rather than having like leftovers of an old pregnancy in there, and that might result in something that you don't want to experience again. So that really made sense to me, and I did say, okay, that makes sense. I will probably wait, talk to my husband about it, and we will protect until all this is done. And then she was like, well, another thing, during that time, no public pools, no bathtubs, try to be as clean as you can down there, and no sex. I was like, what do you mean no sex? And then she goes, well, until you have your next period, since everything is still kind of hurting down there and still bleeding and your risk of infection is really, really high, I just recommend not to have sex and not go to public pools or take a bath or anything, because you don't want to have an infection, because then everything just gets worse. And right now you're in a good position, you're really healthy and everything, your body is taking it fine, but you don't want to risk anything. So that makes sense to me too, and I was like, okay, whatever we need to do, that's what we need to do, and that's what we're doing right now. So we're still trying to get over it and trying to cope with it. She did say though, she's like, I want you to keep one thing in mind. You were trying to conceive the first month and got pregnant right away. Please keep that in mind. Don't worry about your miscarriage. Sometimes nature does things with you that you don't understand, that neither of us will ever understand. Maybe there's just some genetic thing that didn't work out, and nature was like, okay, I will just get rid of it now rather than have a big problem later. We don't know what the nature does, and we don't know why it does it, but it just happens. And I just need to keep in mind that we got pregnant really fast, and that next time everything might work out. So I should not be not too disappointed, but she was like, don't give up hope, because it did happen fast and it can happen fast again. So that really gave me hope, and I told my husband all that too, and we are really hopeful that next time when we're trying to conceive, which is after my next period, again, we get pregnant really fast, and that this time everything will work out and that we will have a healthy baby in the end. I know this was a really, really long video, but I just wanted to put my whole story out there and wanted to let everybody else who's going through the same thing know that you're not alone. We have lots of women who deal with that, and I hear stories about women that miscarried that I never knew that they miscarried before. And I think it's really hard to understand that we are not alone. Even though we do feel alone, we are not. And I just want to put my story out there and encourage everybody else to talk about it and not carry it in your heart only, but speak, talk to other people, try to find help if you need it, and just don't make it a secret, because it happens to a lot of women and to a lot of families, and I think it should not be a shameful topic. I just didn't like the fact that people were like, oh, don't talk about it, you can't just tell everybody that you have a miscarriage. I was like, why not? This is a child. I lost a child. It's just like losing your grandparents, your parents, or something else. You just lost your child. Just because it wasn't born yet doesn't mean it's not a child. So, and I think dealing with that loss, everybody deals with it differently, but that's just the way I dealt with this, or am dealing with it still. So I hope I could help some people out there and answer some questions, and I hope that my next video is a lot more positive than this one, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.